Chapter 123. Vixen. After the old master died, no one was truly sad apart from Xue Fanxin. Even if some people showed grief, it was only superficial. However, no one said anything until she was a rich woman in gorgeous clothes and had a pair of phoenix eyes. Although she was a little old, she looked quite young because she had taken good care of herself. The noble woman tried her best to suppress the disdain in her heart and said coldly, "Look at me. I almost forgot. Although this girl is of the Xue family's bloodline, she didn't grow up in the Xue family. She naturally knows nothing about the Xue family's rules." The person who spoke was the wife of the current master, Xue Fanxin. She had a noble background and held great authority in the Xue family. In short, she was a person with some status. It was not just in the Xue family but also in the Heavenly Saints Empire. It was said that she was the first daughter of a certain marquis. The instant Madame Xue saw Xue Fanxin, she had been filled with all kinds of hatred. There was no reason for it. She just felt displeased with her. Even if the old master had just died, Madame Xue could not help but want to find trouble with Xue Fanxin immediately. "Little girl, you don't know. There is a rule in the Xue family. If the elder dies, the person whom the elder valued or liked the most will have to guard his spirit for 7 days. During these 7 days, the guardian is not to leave the spirit hall at all. They are not to touch a single drop of wine or have any meat." In other words, when an elder of the Xue family passed away, it did not necessarily mean that his children or other family members would have to guard the spirit. Instead, it meant that the person whom the elder had regarded as important to him when he was alive would have to guard the spirit. During this time, the person would not be allowed to leave the hall or eat anything. This old witch clearly did not want her to have a good time. "You want to scam me? No way. Grandpa, is this old lady's brain broken? She's actually saying such ridiculous things." Xue Fanxin's words of old lady angered Madame Xue tremendously, but she could not just flare up. She could only say tactfully, "Little girl, didn't your parents teach you to respect your elders? Are you milder?" These words provoked Madame Xue again. She tried her best to suppress the anger in her heart and forced out a smile. "I'm the wife of your grandfather's elder brother. According to seniority, you should call me great aunt." When Madame Xue introduced herself, she unintentionally glanced at Xue Fanxin, who was sitting by the bed, and a smug expression appeared on her face. Although it had already been 40 years, she still could not forget how the two Xue brothers had turned against each other to snatch her. Women liked to be admired by men even if they were old. Just as Madame Xue was feeling smug, Xue Fanxin's words sent her from heaven to hell. "Oh, so you're the Vixen who caused the brothers to turn against each other." She had roughly heard what had happened from her grandfather. Back then, her grandfather had been kicked out of the Xue family because of this woman. However, this woman seemed to enjoy the feeling of being competed for. Even today, she was still using this matter to brag. Although Madame Xue did not like Xue Fanxin, she had never thought of falling out with her now. However, Xue Fanxin's words stimulated her, so she scolded without care, "Bichi-chi, who are you calling a vixen?" Xue Fanxin looked at the enraged Madame Xue and replied casually, "Yes, yes, yes. You're not a vixen because you're not qualified to be one. A vixen is not something that ordinary people can be. Back then, when my grandfather saw my grandmother, it was love at first sight." Madame Xue was angered by Xue Fanxin's words. She glared at Xue Fanxin, angry that this man had not said a word for her even now. Back then, this man had caused a storm because of her.